So with these lenses, a lot of times when we're doing physics lessons, you have like the plastic lenses that are already pre-made and everything works out great and they're perfect, and there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. The gelatin brings in a different aspect to it. It gets the kids a little bit more excited, so you can use that enthusiasm to kind of help hook with what's going on with the materials. And also, this particular one that we're using in some of the videos, it's already kind of pre-formed to the shape of the container. So when we're looking at a convex lens at half, it helps so it's a little bit better. Now, the challenge is cutting the different Jello. I don't give my students X-Acto knives. It's the risk of them cutting themselves. So you can use plastic knives. You can even use dental floss to make the straight lines. And so with these different type of labs, you can have them create little rectangles first and so show what happens when the laser beam's entering two flat surfaces. And then they can cut out the different shapes of the lenses. So I can cut things out and I can use the laser beam. And again, it's important that when you're doing this to kind of go back and forth, you can get different colors. So some combinations, so like you might have green Jello, the red shows up really well, or red on red. But if you try to do a purple, the purple laser is not going to show up all that well with the red lasers. And so what I like doing is it gets the students excited, it gets them kind of out of their normal, it doesn't seem like a science school experiment. But we start by moving the laser beam completely perpendicular to the flat surface. And so we start taking notes like, okay, and I can have them draw pictures in our notes. What's happening when the laser beam is here? Now what happens when the laser beam is here? And so the way the laser is pointing, I can start talking about it and having them draw these into ray diagrams. So instead of just giving them a ray diagram with the lens, they're actually going to be graphing over this. Now to make this a little bit easier to doing this, if you're paying attention, you notice the shapes of the plates. It helps when you're doing the cutting to give each group two plates. One is a normal plate that this is where they're going to be doing all the cutting. So this is where it's going to be the messy plate. The second one, what I like to do is turn it upside down. By turning it upside down, now I have a little bit of a stage to put the Jello on top of and to have the laser beam so that I can move it back and forth and I don't have to worry about getting it in or putting it down into or having it mess up with all the different Jello. I usually do this kind of as an end of an application when we're talking about light and lasers and how light travels and how we see. So this is a great application to bring in lenses and to talk about it. The other way that you can do this is to show it as some observations, where it's like, let's just cut some different shapes, don't tell them what's going on, and just let them observe and see what's happening. So there's a couple different ways you can bring this lesson into your classroom with it, but regardless of age level, I've used it with elementary kids, I've used it with high school students, and they enjoy it all different, across the board. So another little bit of strategy that you can use to help bring some, classroom, ideas into what you're doing. I've also heard of some teachers that you can actually make your own Jello molds. And so that's something that you can try if you want to do as well, just to have the mold out, and so that completely would eliminate the cutting of the different shapes. But I think between the plastic spoons and the plastic knife or something like that, you can have the students cut out the different shapes and experiment with the lasers and bring in different colored Jellos, bring in different color lasers, and you can use them as well as discussion tools like, do we think the color of the laser makes a difference? And so these are ways that you can kind of expand upon what we're doing with different questions. So thanks again and have a wonderful day.